We shouldn't have been near Jason and Cobb Labs. Everyone said it was cursed, not abandoned. But viral views don't come easy. So when Dax found a rusted blueprint showing the burial vault, we grabbed cameras, flashlights, and broke in. The first thing that hit me was the silence. The second was the smell, metallic, sweet, rotten. We pushed deeper through the ruins, laughing nervously, until the ground shifted. Dax cursed and stumbled, uncovering something hidden by dead leaves. A huge metal hatch, chained shut and sealed with layers of concrete. Spray painted across it, "Do not UNERTH." So of course we did. Dax's crowbar pried the hatch open with a howl. Cold air rushed out like a dying breath. So cold our cameras flickered. Beneath us, a spiral staircase, swallowing itself into darkness. We went down. The further we descended, the older everything felt, like time itself had rotted. The concrete was cracked, bleeding black moss. The lights above sputtered, giving off more shadow than glow. At the bottom was a hallway lined with thick glass chambers. Inside, twisted skeletons lay against the walls, some curled up like children, others frozen mid-scream. And then, the glass of Chamber 7 was shattered from the inside. Beside it, a plaque. Subject 13. Memory leech. Terminated 2004. I laughed shaky. Terminated? Then where the hell is it? That's when we heard it. The sound of breathing, but not through mouths. It came from the walls, the ceiling, the very air around us. We spun around and saw it. At first, it looked like a man, a black silhouette dragging broken chains. But its body glitched, spasming between forms, a soldier, a child, a woman in a lab coat. It wore faces like clothes, stitched from stolen memories. Dax pointed the camera at it. The screen buzzed, pixelated, then showed me, snarling, rushing forward. I screamed, stumbling back, but Dax stood frozen, mesmerized. The thing reached him, and its hands, if you could call them that, slipped into him, digging past skin and bone. He didn't scream. He just sagged, twitching, as if strings held him upright. Then he turned and smiled at me. Not Dax's smile, something else's. We ran, me and Kaylee, tripping over each other through the collapsing hallways as alarms screeched from the depths. But the tunnels, they shifted. Walls twisted into doors. Doors melted into screaming mouths. Kaylee sobbed, clutching her head. It's inside. It's showing me. She gasped. And then she smiled, just like Dax. I was alone. And worse, every time I blinked, I saw the thing closer. Behind a corner, at the end of a hallway, reflected in broken glass, flickering between faces it had stolen. I found a map painted on the wall, half-rotted. Primary vault, core burial site. If it came from the core, maybe I could end it there. Breath hitching, I sprinted toward the vault. The halls grew narrower, tighter, until they squeezed around me like clenched fists. Then an ancient metal door, sealed with 4 heavy bolts. Something behind it pounded, slow and massive, like a heartbeat. On the floor was a journal, open to the last entry. We couldn't destroy it. We buried it alive. It dreams and it remembers. I heard a whisper, not from behind the door, but inside my head. Come closer. I've missed you. Sobbing, I forced the bolts back. The door creaked open, and there it was. Not a creature, not a monster. A pit, a seething pool of black oil, faces bubbling up and sinking down, screaming silently. The real Subject 13. It didn't need a body. It needed minds. It lunged, tendrils of darkness reaching for me. I hurled a flare from our backpack into the pool. The thing shrieked, convulsing violently, the walls shaking as the entire facility began to collapse. I ran, sprinting through falling rubble, past Dax's body twitching on the ground, past Kaylee's cold, glassy eyes. The hatch above was in sight, sunlight spearing down like salvation. I leapt through it just as the ground behind me caved in, swallowing Holloway Labs forever. Safe at last, gasping in the grass, I looked back. The earth was still, but on my camera screen, still recording, a figure stood at the hatch, smiling, wearing my face, and in the faintest whisper, so close it brushed my ear, it said, "Bury me deeper next time. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon before it finds you. More nightmares are waiting below, if you dare." We never heard the screams when they buried it. We just felt the ground breathe. There were 7 of us when we broke into Holloway Labs that night. It wasn't just curiosity. It was the dares, the whispered legends, the warnings stitched into every story. They tried to kill it, but it wouldn't die. Holloway Labs had been shut down for 20 years. Barbed wire coiled around its fences like a crown of thorns. The government declared it a biohazard, but the real story was darker. A failed experiment they couldn't destroy, so they buried it. We found the hatch near the ruins of the main building, half sunk into the dirt, padlocked and rusting. I almost backed out when Alex pulled the lock free with bolt cutters and said, "Come on, we're already dead if we don't go viral." The hatch groaned open, a blast of cold, rotten air hit us, thick as syrup. Something below shifted, slow and wet. We climbed down. The walls were slick concrete, painted with frantic claw marks, smeared symbols, blood, or something thicker. At the bottom, the tunnel stretched in 2 directions, left into darkness, right toward a faint red glow. Alex grinned, his phone camera flashing. Red means fun. We went right. The red glow came from warning lights spinning over a heavy steel door. On it, 3 words scratched into the metal with shaking hands. "Do not open." Alex reached for the wheel. "No," I hissed. "Look at the scratches." Something inside tried to keep the door closed. But Alex was already turning the wheel. The door slammed open with a hydraulic hiss, and the light inside flickered to life. It was a holding cell. Broken chains dangled from the ceiling. In the center, pit. At first, it was just a hole. Black. Bottomless. Then it blinked. The pit was an eye. We froze. I felt it scan me. Not just my face, but my memories, my fears, my every sin. Then the ground trembled. The concrete cracked. Something long and thin slithered from the pit, ashy white, tipped with razor teeth. Alex screamed, too slow. The tendril wrapped around his leg and yanked him into the darkness. There wasn't even a thud, just silence, then chewing. We ran, but the tunnels were shifting. Doors where there weren't doors. Walls melting into corridors that spiraled downward. No matter which way we turned, we felt it behind us, dragging itself closer, hungrier now. Every light flickered. Every breath showed in the freezing air. Then the whispering started. Not in our ears, in our heads. "Let me out. Join me. Bury you too." Jenna stumbled, clutching her head. She shrieked once, high and sharp, then fell still. Her body rose, twitching like a marionette, her mouth stretching wider than it should have. Something wore her like a suit. We didn't wait. We sprinted toward the last emergency exit, a rusted ladder leading back up to the surface. Tom was first. Halfway up, he froze. The metal rungs were bleeding. Thick, black blood oozed from the ladder, welding his hands in place. From the walls, the pit thing's tendrils snaked out, wrapping him, pulling. His final scream rattled in my chest as we fled deeper, anywhere but there. We found a control room, or what was left of it. Papers were scattered everywhere, scrawled with diagrams, warnings. Phase 3, Conscious infection confirmed. It learns. It becomes. Security footage flickered on a cracked monitor. It showed us, but distorted. We weren't running. We were laughing, dancing with the thing that wore Jenna's face. I gagged. Caleb muttered, "It's rewriting the past." He was right. The experiment wasn't just physical. It was psychic. It infected reality itself. Memories. History. If it could bend the past, it could trap us forever. "We have to bury it again," Caleb said, wild-eyed. We sprinted back toward the pit room, dodging the twitching bodies of the others, now controlled by it. Their limbs bending wrong, faces splitting with grins too wide, too sharp. We reached the pit. It was bigger now. It pulsed. It breathed. Caleb yanked out a grenade, one he grabbed from a security locker, and pulled the pin. He looked at me, eyes steady. "Tell them," he said. Then he jumped. The blast shook the facility, sent rubble crashing around me. The pit shrieked, a sound too big for the world. I ran, climbed, clawed my way up. Sunlight, real sunlight, burned my face as I burst out through the hatch. Behind me, the ground collapsed, burying the entrance in a tidal wave of dirt and rubble. Silence. I was the only one left.